You like your barbecue the way you like your Drakkar Noir, hot, pungent, and dripping off the skin? You're in the right place. Hey everybody, welcome to my backyard. Today, we're going to work on an invented recipe, one that I just literally made up out of the blue recently. It's going to be some ground turkey, some sausage, bunch of different flavorings, seasonings, and whatnot. And we're going to take that, lay it out on a perforated pizza tray, and we're going to smoke it for a few hours on the Embers Drum Smoker. In the end, we should have some really tasty, crumbly, meatloaf-style ground beef, sort of something. Not exactly sure how this is going to turn out. Tried it once before. It was tasty, but that was in the oven, not on the smoker. So I'm expecting level up with this version. Anyhow, I'll take you through it. I'll show you what I'm doing and give you a rundown on the Even Embers. This thing is a monster. It is an amazing drum smoker. Highly recommend it. Can't wait to get back into it today. Gang, let's take a look at what we have here for the ingredients today. We have... That's 2 pounds, you'll have to take my word for it, of ground turkey. It's a 93-7 mix, so pretty lean. To balance that a bit, we've got some Bratwurst in here, which I have decased, so taking them out of the casing, so we'll mix that together. Probably give us closer to like a 90-10 blend of actual protein to fat. We have a sweet Vidalia onion. I've got about half a large one diced up here. I've got 4 green onions here. I have the reddish powder is the Meat Church Gospel, so it's their all-purpose. This pale powder is actually the Lockhart Poultry and Pork Rub. Huge favorite of mine, love their stuff. Got 16 mesh black pepper here, so nice little bite from that. And then this other pile is 2 teaspoons of a mushroom foundation that I make myself. Maybe a quick rundown on that. So for that mushroom foundation, this is basically what it ends up looking like. It's all fresh ingredients, so you got to kind of mix it a little bit before you use it. But that is actually 5 ounces of dried oyster mushrooms, 5 ounces of dried shiitake mushrooms. I grind those like just in a spice grinder. A coffee bean grinder works perfectly for that. Make it into a fine powder. And then I've got 2 tablespoons of onion powder, a tablespoon of roasted garlic powder. We've got something a little bit different. It's a tablespoon of Worcestershire powder. You know the sauce, but you can also get it as a powder. I got mine off Amazon, pretty straightforward. It is extraordinary, in my opinion. Of course, we've got a teaspoon and a half of regular garlic powder and a teaspoon and a half of 16 mesh black pepper in that foundation. I'll put all this in the description down below as well, so you don't really have to worry about taking notes. But I am going to mix all of this, and then as a part of mixing it, I am going to use some leftover pickle juice that I have, just a little bit, and then later, my all-time favorite Blues Hog Champions Blend barbecue sauce. Love this stuff, but hey, you do you, because we're all individual people. If you're wondering what that Lockhart's product is, this is the actual poultry and pork rub from Lockhart's. Love it, especially like on a Boston butt, a pork shoulder, low and slow. Oh, amazing. And of course, the Gospel from Meat Church. And then if you're wondering what a 16 mesh black pepper looks like, that's it. It's just a coarse ground black pepper. It's called 16 mesh if you're not familiar with it. Should be able to get it. Again, you can order all this stuff online and have it dropped right on your doorstep if you like. Or I get a bunch of my stuff, not sponsored in any way, but I like my local Ace Hardware. They've got a bunch of barbecue stuff in there, including, that's where I got my Rectech smoker. They've got the Meat Church stuff. They've got a whole bunch of other brands in there as well. So it's a great spot if you've got one near you, is the point. Anyhow, I'm going to go and mix all of this together. When you see this next, we should have this out on the trays. And then my next step is going to be kicking off the fire in the smoker itself. Well, let's try the next step, gang. Let's see. I have 1 tray. This is a fully perforated pizza tray, 12-inch. and I've just flattened out a bunch of the mix on it, as you can see. If you wanted to add some more seasoning on top, you certainly can. I'm going to try it this way with the recipe that I have, which will be obviously down below in the description. This will go on the bottom shelf so that any of the fat that renders from it drips down on the coals, gets vaporized, comes back up. This other tray, we're going to try something a little bit different with this. I have the other half of the mix in the bag, and I am going to cut a piping hole out of the corner of the bag, and then we are going to see if we can make some logs out of this. And what this turns out like, I have no idea. But it should help us manage portions and just kind of help a little bit with that. Plus, you know, it's a little fun to try something a bit different. And, you know, you can all like stop the giggling and the hoo-hawing and whatnot and be the mature adults that you like to tell people you are at this point. This is a pretty standard culinary thing to do, so relax. But I'm going to go ahead and get these knocked out, and we'll go from there. And yes, I do understand that there are all kinds of jokes that we could be making about this right now. All kinds of endless fun that we could be having at my expense. But we're not going to do that, are we? No, 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 no. We are a mature audience. We are an adult audience who knows why they're here. And it's not base humor. If we wanted base humor, I'd just dust off some of my old stand-up stuff, and then we get pretty base. But this is cookery. Come on. Keep your head out of the gutter and stay focused. All right, I'm going to finish this up, gang, and then I'll bring you back when you stop laughing and I have this all ready to go. So you can get your laughter out of the way right now. We all know what's going on here. This is all about cooking. This is about protein. This is about eating healthy, healthier, healthy-ish, healthy-esque, healthy adjacent. The shape of it doesn't really matter. But hey, you know what? If you want smaller portions because, I don't know, maybe you're on a GLP-1 and your appetite is suppressed a little bit. Maybe you're just trying to cut down on your portion sizes. I don't know. Cut a corner out of a Ziploc bag, use it as a piping bag, do this kind of stuff. Once you get the giggles out of your system, you'll find it very satisfying. And then we're going to go cook this up and see how it all turns out. I have high hopes. We'll see how this goes. Next step, out on the even embers. Gang, I'm back. I will be using the B&B Charcoal Competition char logs today. This is not a competition, however. This is just lunch. So, if you're not familiar with these guys, this is what they look like. They literally charcoal logs. And I'm pretty sure the folks at Even Embers would be yelling at me, "Oh my lord, that's too much charcoal." You may be saying, "That's too much charcoal." I will be saying, whatever, it's my cook. I'll, play as I want to. So I'm going to get this stuff started, get this thing up to temp, and I have a little surprise to share with y'all. So to get us started down in there, I've got a couple of the Weber lighter cubes, nothing special. Just toss them in there underneath, get it started, and once we've got the charcoal actually lit to some level, I don't worry too much about it. It has to be all ashed over and all gray. There's heat building up in here. We're only going to be smoking for a couple of hours at maybe around 250, 300. So we'll get plenty of heat in here, even if some of these char logs have not lit. So I'm not worried about that. We'll be back in a little bit and we will get the meat a-sizzling. While we're waiting for the Even Embers Drum Smoker to kind of come up to temperature, I just want to share something with you. My wife and I actually collect cookbooks. We've got old first editions from like Julia Childs, Joy of Cooking, all of that kind of stuff. But one of my obvious passions is smoking, grilling, barbecuing. So I have a very large collection of barbecue-related cookbooks. Today, I want to talk to you about the New School Barbecue from Evan Leroy and Paula Forbes. This thing is a fantastic book. I wouldn't call it a cookbook for purists. This is not how to make a brisket. They have brisket recipe in here. It's not a problem. This is not like the traditional old school Texas barbecue. This is literally new school barbecue. Take those old ideas, put a new spin on them. That's what they're all about. There's plenty out there talking about new school or old school, but new school, this is where it's at. In fact, in my last video, I did a Wagyu chuck roast for my first cook on the Even Embers, and I made a mustard barbecue sauce that came from this cookbook right here. There is a cauliflower burnt ends recipe in here that I have a cauliflower sitting inside that we are going to be doing very soon. There's just great ideas in here, and it spans all kinds of different options, whether it is sauces, sausages, duck, chicken, lamb, carnitas. They have everything in here, picanha, Italian beef sandwich. I mean, just look at this. Look at this. This is delicious. I can't show you some of the pages because I licked them, but you get the idea, right? Just a fantastic, fantastic option. And look, it doesn't matter if you actually cook the recipes that are in here or in any cookbook that you may have. Just the inspiration from them is enough. Just the doing something a little bit different. Here I am about to tell you, maybe you should get away from the small screen and start reading a little bit. Get cookbooks, great inspiration, great ideas. You can make, especially with barbecue, especially with smoking, especially with grilling, you can make the recipes as healthy as you want. Yeah, it's great to add some, Wagyu tallow and wrap things up and have it dripping, and it's super rich and it is decadent, but you're not going to eat a lot of it. You're not going to eat it every day. And then once you've got that done, I've got an 18-pound prime brisket sitting in my freezer right now. When that comes out and it's ready to go, I'm going to invite friends over that we go camping with all the time. We are going to have like a full-on barbecue day here. 2 smokers going, another grill going. We're just going to go barbecue maxing. But get your ideas out of books like this. What's your favorite book? Let me know down below. All right, gang. So we are starting to come up to temp here, right? We're at about 150 there now. I have the lower setting at a very brisk 2. As you will see, it really doesn't need that. And we've got some really good smoke coming out here. I'd say we're maybe 15% open on that top stack there. I'll dial that back a little bit because we get up around 225, 250, I'll close that a little bit and I'll dial the bottom back to a 1. And that should level off somewhere around 300. That's my plan. We'll see what the smoker's doing today. It's a nice hot day today. It is 86 out in the backyard today here in Southern California. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'm gonna interrupt this. We've got one layer there nice and deep. You can see all kinds of smoke. We've got the deflector plate down below, and you can see the coals under that. We'll have a second tray on here. I will let the lower tray drip down onto the coals in the plate to vaporize any of the fat coming off that. That'll add to the smoke flavor inside during the cook. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there. We will cook to temperature. Probably just take it up to about 165 or so for today's cook. We'll see what the turkey and the pork are telling us as we get into this. So just add yet another bit of flavor to today's proceedings. We're going to go with a nice chunk, a small chunk of post oak. So, I just keep this simple, gang. I just buy a bag of post oak or mesquite or hickory or whatever. Again, not sponsored by these guys, but I do shop at my local Ace Hardware. They have bags of this hardwood pre-cut ready to go, so makes it easy for me to grab. I will throw that on the coals a few minutes ahead of putting the actual protein on the grills. And then we'll have some nice post oak flavor added to this whole cook. So as you can see, we are a little over 225. Temperature's coming up nicely. I have closed the exhaust down quite a bit, maybe 10% open, and I am down here just around 1, just a little over 1. In fact, we will close that down to a hard 1, and that'll let us creep up a little bit, get in the zone. But to help us out, we are going to set up the Temp Pro. We're just going to put this at the grill level, so it will monitor the lower grill temperature for us. We have an idea of what the actual temperature is at that level inside the smoker, instead of up here where the probe is in the dome of the lid. Now this is pretty straightforward. You know, if you haven't done one of these before, it's real simple. If you have, then you know exactly what's going on here. We're going to take this and we are going to pinch it just a little bit to get it in here. And we'll put it maybe over here so that the tip has a good idea of what it's doing. Probe picks it up, puts it here, this broadcasts inside, and then I don't have to stand out here waiting to see what's going on. Of course, I just let all my heat out, so we'll have to start this again. And we are almost ready. We are showing on the big dial up top here, we are showing about 340, so we're a little higher, but perfect for what we're trying to do here. Because the temperature at the grill is 313 and I want to be cooking it around 300. So I've got about a quarter, maybe 20% open on the exhaust, and I've got 1.5 on the intake. And we are going to start putting things in here. So on the lower rack, we will do our flat turkey on the perforated pan. Ooh. And everything inside here is hot, just so we know that was a demonstration. And we can just slide this right in on the top here. And there we go. We are off and running. Super excited about this. Drop back down to about 218, 215 after that. But I can smell the post oak. We've got some good smoke rolling in here. I'm going to keep an eye on our Temp Pro from inside the house, and I'll adjust things if we start getting up over 300, 325. Then I'll start throttling this back so that we can keep it all reasonable and we're not into high temp grilling. So we have been pretty much locked in here. We got the intake at about a 1. We've got the exhaust sitting maybe 20% open or so. And the Even Embers 20-inch drum smoker has locked in right at around 330, 340 degrees, which is fine for what I'm doing. I was targeting 300, and you know, this is charcoal. This isn't a pellet grill, so things can get a little, the temperature can wander a little bit, and that's okay. I'm going to open this thing up now. Instant read thermometer, your best friend. And yeah, we're going to give this thing a shot, and we're going to see what we're temping at for our Tausage inside here. And just to not be foolish, I will put on the silicone glove. Oh yeah, that's coming along. That's coming along. Oh, right there, 159, 160. We got a 161 on that one. Center of that one's sitting at a 160. That's 172. Now let's see if we can get down in here. I can't quite reach that one. Let me grab my glove and we'll do some swapping here. So these are technically done. So next step on these is some sauce. But first, I'm just going to go ahead and check our giant patty. See what we're looking like down here. So you are a 150, 159, 160, 161, 169, 8, 77. Okay, yeah, that's done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab just a little bit of the Blues Hog sauce, and we are going to put it all over this and let this stuff tack up a little bit. So put this back in, close things down, and I will be right back to sauce, to make it saucy, to be saucy, or not to be saucy. I don't know. I'm going to go get the sauce. I'll be right back. All right, gang. So we will do some saucing here. Keep in mind, of course, anytime you open up your grill, you're going to introduce a bunch of fresh air in here, and like the flame is burning hot down there now. So you got to be a little bit careful with this. The temperature is going to spike after this, and it'll make a difference for you. So, oh, geez, that's hot. In fact, I'm wondering if the bottom of that might be burnt, but we will see shortly. We have kind of stabilized here. I've taken the thermostats away and whatnot. We don't really need that. The last 15 is just to tack up the sauce a bit. We've got everything in here. I flipped the order of them. Check the bottom of the big patty, and it's not burnt at all. It's just nicely browned and crisped. So got our timing right on that. That looks good. We'll let that go for 15 minutes, and then we'll call it done. Temperature is cooked internal. We are right around 160 across everything. Some are a little more, some a little less. The next 15 will bring it up a bit more. I think we're looking good. We got good smoke. We got good color. I don't know if we have enough time to really have the smoke influencing the flavor. So what I might do if I redo this is actually add a little bit of liquid smoke to the mix just to heighten that flavor a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll know shortly. Are we ready to see what we have cooked? I certainly am. So I checked a few minutes ago. Still lots of coals left in there. Still most of that chunk of post oak. There's some in there. Bottom line is I'm going to shut this thing down, let it strangle the fire, and then it'll be ready for whatever I want to do tomorrow or the next day. But as we are wrapping things up here, you can see we're looking at just around 250 or so. So it's settled down from 320, 330 down. I am at a hard 0 on the intake down here, and I am on maybe 10% on the exhaust. So look, I can tell you right now, this smoker from Even Embers, the 20-inch drum smoker, this thing is a machine. You can lock it right in 250, 300, 300, 350, and it'll just truck along. It is fantastic. I am thrilled with this purchase, but this purchase is meaningless unless it creates amazing food. So let's see how we have done. So this is our big patty after we've gone ahead and sauced it up, and then let that tack a little bit in the heat here. So I'll change the settings just a little. I'm liking the way that looks. That's good. I did check the bottom. There's nothing burnt or charred on the bottom, so that is going to be fantastic. Slice that up, use it 5-6 different ways, I think. And in just a moment, we will take a look at the Tausage Nuggies. Now, take a look at these. These are the ropes that we squeezed out of the Ziploc bag. We cut the, you laughed about it because you were like being a child, and I was trying to be mature, chef-like in my kitchen. But they look fantastic. A lot of reflection here on the sauce from the sun outside in the backyard. So let me get you off of the actual stand, get you off the tripod here, and get you in for a close-up. Oh yeah, this is tasty. Let's get a nice wide shot. Come in close. That is what we're talking about. So now take these, toss them in, a couple of these in a hot dog bun, slice them up in medallions, use them on salads, throw them in a pita with a little bit of cucumber, a little bit of yogurt, slice them up into eggs in the morning, however you like. Bottom line is you get a bunch of protein here, several meals through the week, that high protein, low fat, and delicious. Well, I say delicious, I'm claiming the win. I'm hoping it's going to be delicious. I will know shortly, because this is going to be lunch today. I'm going to show you how all this worked out from this recipe today. So I did take a quick peek underneath this. There is some charring on the bottom. It's completely for me. I will eat it. I'm happy to eat it. It looks good. But some of you may look at it and say, oh, that's a bit much. So, watch your temperatures and mind your planning, basically. So I'm just going to take a spatula and essentially cut this thing into thin strips. And the beauty of this is, once you have this done, you can use these strips for whatever you like. You can put them in a sandwich, put them in a tortilla, cut them up further from the way they are now, make them smaller, make them larger, do whatever you like. If you want, you can go ahead and cut these things out for your kids with different shapes. I mean, who among us doesn't want a dinosaur-shaped turkey sausage nugget? I mean, I don't know. I just think that's an incredible option right there. But I'm going to stick to just consuming my protein. I will obviously cut these up into smaller pieces, and then I will come back and you can take a look at everything ready for many meals during the week. Okay, everyone. Now, the test. After all of this time, for you, it was a few minutes. For me, it was like most of my day, about 4 hours. And the things that I know you laughed at, the ropes, or what we can call Tausage Nuggies, let's take a look at these. So these turned out really nice. Obviously, the bottoms aren't browned. I didn't flip them over. You could, but the actual ropes themselves turned out pretty nice. Nicely browned, nice texture, I added a little sauce on there for the final 15 minutes, so we'll see how this tastes here. Okay. I'm getting the sauce. I'm getting the smoke on there. There's a bit of a smoke ring on it. And the onions are soft and springy inside. The green onions are just, that little snap on a green onion. But the Vidalia onion is just, they're cooked. They're really nice. There's a bit of a spring to it when you bite into it. I'm a fan. I like this. Now, the patty version of it, I'll show you what this looks like up close, right? So we've got this is one edge, okay? And you can see the browning is nice. And the back side of it actually came out beautiful. Oddly enough, there is just the hint of a smoke ring in there, which I wasn't expecting. And, they've got little nubs here and there and protrusions, so we'll see. I don't expect it to really taste any different. Oh, More smoke flavor on this. Interesting. This captured more of the smoke. Now, keep in mind, this was lower in the drum by 2 inches maybe. So, you know, bathed in the same smoke, but it was getting hit with the smoke first, and the perforated tray let the smoke hit the bottom of it as well. So that's actually really good. Now, I'm not going to hide from this. You're going to see some of the edges on there, on some of these pieces, got a little darkened up. And the bottom, you know, it looks like kind of like your favorite pizza crust, right? Hey, oh, delicious. Doesn't taste burnt at all. It just tastes like really nice smoked turkey and pork. Now, would I do this again? Yes, I would. And I'm going to give you the recipe for this. And then I'm going to tell you, I'd add more of everything. I'd add more of all of the seasonings I put in there. I would probably go up a half of everything again. So whatever is in the recipe, I will add a half a tablespoon more, a half a teaspoon more for each one of the items. That's me. I really like flavors to punch and be noticeable. One thing I did not do that I was planning on doing was taking a sprig of rosemary out of our small garden and putting it on the coals to let it burn down over the coals for the last 20-30 minutes of the smoke and add some rosemary smoke in there. I didn't do it. I could. I'll probably do it the next time. But overall, this is great. What's really good about it is it doesn't really taste like turkey. It takes on that kind of pork flavor from the pork being mixed in there. It's a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 pounds of turkey, 1 pound of pork. But boy, this came out nice. As a base protein to use all week in a variety of different ways, this is a winner for me. I'm happy with it. I'm going to keep working on the recipe. I'll share what I have with you guys. Feel free to use it, change it, do what you like with it. I just appreciate you being here for today's cookery. Thanks, everybody. I will catch you the next time I'm cooking with smoke.